Hello everyone. Are you ready to sit back, relax and prepare for another incredible story? Good. Let's begin at the city of Sparta, positioned in the southern Peloponnese, guarded by King Areus, the head of the Agiad dynasty. He was a good and strong leader, never running away from a fight, the perfect man to lead the once proud nation back into its former glory. And it was greatly needed as well. Pyrrhus of Epirus continuously mocked their manhood and said their spears were short. Pah! Furthermore, how the Spartans refused to leave their little peninsula in comparison to Pyrrhus himself, who had won many battles in Magna Graecia already. He might not be speaking too loudly about it, but even the Helots knew Pyrrhus' victories were no more than a death sentence for his own soldiers. Unlike his reckless tactics, the Spartan phalanx was practically impenetrable. It was time to show their warrior culture once again. However, the internal situation was dire, with the experienced King Areus being forced to keep the peace in Sparta. Sanitation was a major problem and therefore was a main focus for the busy king. A situation his biggest rival Galenos took advantage of. He mustered a host of the greatest Spartan fighters, with an even more phenomenal set of advisors. Of course, only the true, noble, or reliable people of Sparta joined the band of hoplites. Reserves or other cowardly tasks, such as archery and horsemanship, was delegated to the helots or mercenaries. Inferiors, basically. Once enough men were gathered, Galenos traveled up to Larissa. He was positioned on a hill just outside the town. Here, he held proud, taking a frontal charge from the infamous Thessalian cavalry. From here, it was one massive shield wall fight. The perfect circumstances for a Spartan soldier. The problem was the enemy came at the Spartans in two waves, thinning their weakened numbers little by little. Although they were incredibly outnumbered, Galenos and the Spartan warriors pulled through and scored a heroic victory. Unlike what that man Pyrrhus of Epirus did. The fool that he was, he boldly challenged the Romans one last time. But in his struggle for Beneventum, two Roman legions appeared. It is rumored that Pyrrhus of Epirus fell off his horse to get killed by an old woman with a brick. And he tries to compare himself with Sparta. Pathetic. Ares, the god of war, had forsaken him in favor of us. Galenos of Sparta knew if he could finish off Epirus, the toughest competition could be removed from Greece, and possibly get the favor of Rome. More men were gathered to the army, Agrianians, Thessalians and Macedonians, all ready to attack Apollonia. But as Galenos might have grown his prestige through battles and wars, King Areus took a different approach. He found a way to keep the expensive Spartan army going, through improved industry and agriculture. He even came into contact with Antigonus II of Macedonia, establishing a non-aggression pact along with great sums of wealth. But the hard work kept on coming as Apollonia was seized through hails of arrows and a tight formation. Epirus had fallen with Galenos parading around, saying to every Spartan citizen he had made an alliance with the Romans. But now he was the most beloved man in the entire kingdom. So far he had only been tested by inferior nations with subpar equipment. King Areus wanted to change that with one clever move. He personally went to the court of Antigonus Gonatas of Macedonia, secured military access and a promise to join their war against the Thracian tribes. He effectively made the Spartan army mercenaries and forced Galenos to undertake this humiliating task. I promise you, he wasn't pleased, not one bit. It has been years since Areus had shown his ability as a fighter, and now he does this to the most beloved man of Sparta. Nevertheless, Galenos was a man of honor and proceeded with his assignment. A spy was sent out to scout ahead. The biggest and most aggressive tribes of Thrace were the Odrysians and Tylis. Although the Spartans only were at war with the latter, the former was more likely to attack. As Galenos knew winter was soon to come, he established a fort for his men to stay warm and well fed. You know, taking care of his men as he should. A smart move, cause as soon as the snow had melted away, he caught a massive Thracian host on the field of battle. And just before the engagement began, Galenos had hidden his Agrianians on a nearby hill. They would then reveal themselves to overwhelm the enemy right flank. A decisive victory, despite doing the job of a puny mercenary. These barbarians were captured and sold into slavery. It was as if anything this general touched, it would just improve. With his mindset on Pulpadiva, he reorganized his army in preparations for war. However, Galenos was about to become the biggest fool of Greece. Rome, the ones he proclaimed to have formed an alliance with, declared war on the Spartans. Apparently gold and the joint effort to fight Epirus wasn't enough for them. And with Galenos wasting men in Thrace, Greece was vulnerable. King Areus was furious with this betrayal, believing at first Galenos was behind this conflict to gain the power of Sparta. The royal treasury, even the ongoing constructions, were disbanded to support the solution to their newest problem. The Romans only had one way towards Greece, and that was by crossing the Adriatic. Ships might be a reeking Athenian weapon, yet that was their best chance. A spy was once again dispatched to scout out the enemy. They had numbers unlike anything the Spartans had ever seen before. No wonder Pyrrhus fell at the Battle of Beneventum. Several months went by, with most of the time either being spent on improving the army or waiting for a Roman attack. So far, the Spartans had crushed 2 armies trying to cross, and another near the coast of Apollonia. Through these small victories led by Galenos, it was now clear he had nothing to do with the Romans' attack. I mean, he foolishly contacted them, making them aware of our weakened situation. But we can't linger on the past. Thankfully, King Areus had a plan. He would personally take charge of the Apollonian defenses, establish a defensive alliance with the Agiad to the north, and send Galenos back to Thrace in search of an opportunity to gain gold for the war effort. And apparently, all these smaller fights have been so impressive, multiple tribes throughout the world wanted to seek our friendship. Something King Areus accepted only for the mass amount of wealth he acquired through it. However, this conflict didn't seem to have any ending in sight. The Romans had captured Sicily and showed no sign of stopping their expansion. With them only growing stronger while the Spartans squabbled in Greece, the situation continuously worsened. In the north, Galenos seemed to realize this as well, but with his limited number of mercenaries, he had to stay close to either the Illyrians or Antigonus Gonatas, so he wouldn't get outnumbered, dodging one ambush after the other. But then the greatest solution to their problems appeared. Apollonia, the wife of King Areus' oldest son, managed to use her cunning to embezzle enough money for even more mercenaries. With them, he hoped to take Naissus if the Odrysians attempted to conquer it. Of course, the small hope was wasted, with the Macedonians decisively taking them out before anything could happen. Probably for the better, as Ares finally seemed to have blessed our war effort. The entire province of Pulpediva suffered from a lack of supplies, causing both the Odrysians and Tylis to lose valuable soldiers. If Galenos could sneak up there and take it, the rest of Thrace could potentially be conquered, giving the Spartans a large enough income to defeat the Romans. Yet as one thing seemed to go right, everywhere else started to crumble.
Breaking a man is easy. Breaking his spirit, less so. Even kept in darkness, a man may look to break his bonds, seek revenge.
The slave revolt took place in Larissa and could potentially ruin the Spartans from within. Furthermore, with the Romans finally reaching the port of Apollonia, it was officially time for King Areus to prove his worth on the field once again.